The 2009-2010 Porsche Boxster. For the past 12 years, the Boxster has been playing the chase the 911 with its styling. Now the 2009 refreshed Boxster gets more of its own look, sorta. Instead of taking its styling cues from the 911, it looks a little more like the ultra-fast Carrera GT. The new Boxster features a newly designed front and rear ends. The new halogen headlights with their integrated direction indicators are reminiscent of the lights on the Carrera GT, the new LED rear lights tapering out to the outside and integrated elegantly in the modified rear end of the car. Under the hood, Porsche placed a 2.9-liter engine that delivers 255 bhp, an increase of 10 horsepower. The S version gets a 3.4-liter power unit that delivers 310 horsepower, up 15 horsepower. Mated to the standard 6-speed manual gearbox, the new Boxster makes the 0 to 60 mph sprint in 5.9 seconds. Equipped with the PDK double-clutch gearbox, the sprint will be made 0.1 seconds faster. As it turns out, the increase in power will not mean worse fuel economy. The Boxster equipped with PDK averages 26.3 mpg, and 25.5 mpg for the Boxster S. That's about a 4 mpg improvement from the Tiptronic automatic transmission cars. Full details in the press release after the jump. Press release. Dr. Ing. H.C. F. Porsche AG, Stuttgart, is presenting the second generation of the mid-engined Boxster and Cayman sports cars for the first time at the Los Angeles Auto Show. The highlight of the new generation is of course the new flat-six Boxer engines developed with new technical features from the ground up, providing not only more power, but also significantly greater fuel efficiency than their predecessors. A further improvement of both fuel economy and performance is guaranteed by the Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe, or PDK for short, the new double-clutch gearbox. Newly developed Boxer engines with even more power on even less fuel. 2.9 liters 6-cylinder Boxer engine, 255 bhp at 7,200 revolutions per minute, 214 pound-feet from 4,400 to 6,000 revolutions per minute, and 3.4 liters 6-cylinder Boxer engine, 310 bhp at 7,200 revolutions per minute, 265 pound-feet at 4,750 revolutions per minute. Displacing 2.9 liters, the basic engine develops 255 bhp, 188 kilowatts in the Boxster and 265 bhp, 195 kilowatts in the Cayman, an increase by 10 and, respectively, 20 horsepower over the preceding models. The 3.4-liter power unit in the S versions, benefiting from direct fuel injection, now delivers 310 bhp, 228 kilowatts in the Boxster S and 320 bhp, 235 kilowatts in the Cayman S, up by 15 and, respectively, 25 bhp. An outstanding power-to-weight ratio ranging from 4.2 kg (9.3 pounds) bhp on the Cayman S to 5.2 kg (11.5 pounds) bhp on the Boxster offers the driver maximum driving dynamics on minimum fuel. As a result, the Cayman S with PDK and launch control featured in the optional Sports Chrono package accelerates to 100 km per hour in 4.9 seconds, setting the benchmark in the range, while the Boxster with its 6-speed manual gearbox featured as standard completes the same exercise in 5.9 seconds. Featuring PDK, both the Boxster and the Cayman for the first time outperform the 9-liter consumption mark. Both models with the new 2.9-liter Boxer engine make do with 8.9 liters, 100 km equal to 26.4 mpg US, according to the EU4 standard, 11% less than the former models with Tiptronic S, reducing fuel consumption by an even more significant 16% to 9.2 liters, 100 km equal to 25.5 mpg US. The 3.4-liter versions with PDK offer an even greater saving over their predecessors with Tiptronic S, Roadster and Coupe, with even more signs of distinction. The new two-seaters are clearly distinguishable from outside through their newly designed front and rear ends. The new halogen headlights with their integrated direction indicators are reminiscent of the lights on the Carrera GT, the new LED rear lights tapering out to the outside and integrated elegantly in the modified rear end of the car. From the front, the Roadster and Coupe differ clearly from one another through the distinctive design of their air intakes, from the rear through the new rear panels with diffuser inserts on the Boxster and a wind deflector plate on the Cayman. The rod-shaped positioning lights in LED light conductor technology add a particular touch of class in terms of the car's looks, also through their horizontal arrangement in the outer air intakes. Yet a further highlight is provided by the fog lamps featured as standard, rectangular in shape on the Boxster, round on the Cayman. For the first time both models are available with a lights package featuring bi-xenon headlights, dynamic curve lights and LED daytime driving lights. Replacing the fog lamps, these light units are made up on the Boxster of 4 LEDs positioned next to one another, while on the Cayman 4 LEDs are arranged in round light units like the eyes of a dice. PDK, shifting gears even more quickly, reducing fuel consumption by up to 16%. Both Boxsters are now available for the first time with the Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe or double-clutch gearbox derived from motorsport and replacing the former Tiptronic S transmission. PDK comes with 7 gears and is made up of 2 transmission units each connected to the drivetrain through its own clutch. One transmission unit comes with gears 1, 3, 5 and 7 as well as reverse gear, the other comes with gears 2, 4 and 6. Gears are shifted very fast, with supreme smoothness and without the slightest interruption of traction, the clutch on one transmission unit opening up and the clutch on the other transmission closing at exactly the same time for an ongoing flow of power. This entire process takes place automatically in selector lever position D, while the driver is also able to shift gears manually via paddles on the steering wheel or with the selector lever in the middle. In each case the process of disengaging and engaging the clutch is fully automatic, without requiring any intervention on the part of the driver. PDK improves not only motoring comfort, but also allows even better performance and greater fuel economy than on the manual gearbox models. As a result, the Boxster S, benefiting from the uninterrupted flow of power, accelerates to 100 km/h or 62 mph in 5.2 seconds, the Boxster completing the same exercise in 5.8 seconds. On the Boxster S, fuel consumption is down by no less than 16% to 9.2 liters, 100 km or 25.5 mpg US versus the former model with Tiptronic S, thanks to the optimum shift points and transmission ratios offered by PDK. The basic model equipped with PDK even remains below the 9-liter mark, fuel consumption of just 8.9 liters, 100 km equal to 26.3 mpg US, representing a decrease in fuel consumption by 11% versus the former model. Equipped with PDK, the new models accelerate to 100 km/h or 62 mph 0.2 seconds faster than before thanks to the new launch control with electronic power management ensuring optimum acceleration from a standstill. Launch control is activated by the Sport Plus button which, in conjunction with PDK, comes both on the optional Sports Chrono package and on the likewise optional Sports Chrono Package Plus. The latter is available exclusively in combination with Porsche's optional PCM communication management and offers both an additional performance indicator and an individual memory function. The Sport Plus button also comes with a particularly sporting gearshift strategy for the PDK double-clutch gearbox ideally suited for the racetrack. Yet a further feature on both equipment packages is the particularly sporting setup of other vehicle systems available at the touch of a button, for example engine management, PSM Porsche stability management, and the optional PASM suspension. The packages are clearly recognizable at first sight through the activation buttons in the center console and an analog-digital stopwatch on the instrument panel masterminded through the lever on the steering column and enabling the driver, to mention just one example, to precisely record his lap times on the track. Both models come as standard with a further improved 6-speed manual gearbox. Another standard feature in both cases, with the manual gearbox and Porsche's new PDK, is the start-off assistant relieving the driver from the usual chores of everyday motoring and preventing the car from rolling forwards or backwards when setting off on a gradient by automatically holding the car in position and letting go of the brakes in a controlled process after the driver has released the brake pedal. Without having to pull the handbrake, the driver is therefore able to set off on a gradient smoothly and comfortably thanks to Porsche's new start-off assistant. Suspension even more dynamic and comfortable than before. The exceptional driving pleasure offered by both models in the Boxster range is also a result of the wide track and the newly set-up suspension, improving the car's driving dynamics to an even higher standard despite the enhancement of motoring comfort. One of the features contributing to the reset suspension is the newly developed tires, offering a further improvement of performance together with greater driving comfort by reducing tire pressure on the rear wheels. The Boxster now comes as standard on 17-inch wheels, half an inch wider than before in order to take up the larger brake system of the Boxster S on the front axle. Tire dimensions remain unchanged at 205/55 ZR17 up front and 235/50 ZR17 on the rear wheels. The Boxster S, in turn, comes on 18-inch rims running on 235/40 ZR18 tires at the front and 265/40 ZR18 tires at the rear. In conjunction with 18 and 19-inch wheels, the new models in the Boxster range are also available with a limited slip differential on the rear axle. Locking action in this case is 22% under power and 27% in overrun. The result is a significant improvement of both traction and stability, providing a substantially higher level of performance on winding routes, particularly on the racetrack. Yet a further advantage is the more stable load change behavior. And at the same time, the mechanical limited slip differential, through its particular function, interacts perfectly with the electronic ABID automatic brake differential for optimum traction control, the locking action delaying the tendency of one wheel to spin on a road surface slippery only on one side. Porsche Active Suspension Management, or PASM for short, is available as an option on both models. At the touch of a button, PASM changes damper forces and thus offers the ideal combination of both a sporting and comfortable as well as a sporting and dynamic suspension, the latter proving its qualities particularly on the racetrack. Superior brake system with optional ceramic brakes, cross-drilled and inner vented brake discs ensure excellent deceleration and stopping power on both models in the Boxster range. At the front, brake energy is conveyed to the brake discs, now measuring 318 mm or 12.51 in diameter and 28 mm or 1.10 across by 4-piston aluminum monoblock fixed calipers. At the rear, the Boxster comes with 20 mm (0.79), the Boxster S with 24 mm (0.94) thick brake discs, in each case measuring 299 mm or 11.77 in diameter for optimum stopping power, and again interacting with 4-piston aluminum monoblock fixed calipers. Porsche Ceramic Composite Brakes (PCCB), available as an option on the Boxster S, open up a new dimension in brake technology and performance in the Roadster segment. This very special package of ceramic discs measuring 350 mm or 13.78 in diameter on all four wheels, as well as special brake pads, features yellow painted 6-piston aluminum fixed calipers at the front and 4-piston aluminum fixed calipers at the rear, offering truly supreme and, in particular, consistent stopping power and deceleration, and therefore ensuring very short stopping distances even under extreme conditions. Comprehensive restraint system with head airbags. Featuring head airbags in an open car, the Boxster sets the standard also in terms of passive safety. The airbags protect the car's occupants in a side-on collision as an additional safety factor, supplementing the side impact protection in the doors, by inflating out of the sills beneath the side windows within fractions of a second. This effect is supplemented by thorax airbags inflated on the outer section of the seat backrests. Together with the two full-size frontal airbags operating in two stages, as well as belt latch tensioners and belt force limiters, the Porsche Roadster offers a very high standard of all-around passive safety. Sophisticated interior with new PCM. Both the Boxster and the Boxster S come as standard with Porsche's CDR30 audio system, featuring an easy-to-read 5-inch monochromatic display. The CD player integrated in this system also plays music in the MP3 format. Porsche's new PCM communication management, now even more efficient, versatile and a lot easier to use, is available as an option, serving as the central control unit for all audio, communication and navigation features in the car. The highlight of PCM is the new control monitor with its highly advanced touchscreen. Measuring 6.5 inches, this screen is significantly larger than the 5.8-inch unit on the former model. At the same time, the number of control keys has been halved to just 16, again in the interest of extra convenience. In conjunction with the optionally available Universal Audio Interface, PCM is now also able to control external audio sources such as an iPod or a USB stick. Further options on the PCM unit are Porsche's new voice entry and the electronic logbook. Yet another new feature is the Porsche Sound Package Plus, complete with a radio, CD player and 7 loudspeakers available as an option, just like the Bose surround sound system, with 11 loudspeakers and a 7-channel digital amplifier naturally geared to the car, as well as various telephone connection options. In combination with seat heating, the new Boxsters come as an option with seat ventilation on both the standard seats and the comfort seats in full or partial leather. Particularly in the warm season, active seat ventilation ensures a pleasantly comfortable and dry climate on the seat surface, ventilated at exactly the right points where the occupant is in close touch with the seat. The driver and passenger are able to activate seat ventilation together with the seat heating, reliably removing moisture on the surface and ensuring a pleasant temperature at the same time. More power on less fuel. The Porsche Boxster is continuing to build up its lead as the role model in the segment of open two-seater sports cars. Already a lightweight with lots of power and superior fuel efficiency, the second generation of Porsche's mid-engined Roadster is now even more athletic in its performance and more modest in its fuel consumption. The highlight of the new model is the new 6-cylinder Boxer engines, developed as completely new power units from the ground up, displacing 2.9 liters in the Boxster and 3.4 liters in the Boxster S. These engines belong to the same family as the particularly efficient power units introduced only recently in the 911 model series. The new, basic engine now develops 255 bhp 188 kilowatts at 6,400 revolutions per minute, up by 10 horsepower over the previous model with its 2.7 liters. Maximum torque is up by 17 Nm to 290 Nm or 214 pound-feet, delivered consistently between 4,400 and 6,000 revolutions per minute. Featuring direct fuel injection (DFI), the 6-cylinder in the Boxster S offers 15 bhp more than before, now developing 310 horsepower, 228 kilowatts, also at 6,400 revolutions per minute. Maximum torque of 360 Nm or 265 pound-feet, 20 Nm more than before, comes between 4,400 and 5,500 revolutions per minute from this unique 3.4-liter. Given this kind of power, the balance of output and weight on both Porsche Roadsters, so crucial to a dynamic sports car, is improving once again. With its unladen weight of just 1,335 kilograms or 2,944 pounds, quite outstanding for an open sports car in this class, the Boxster offers a power-to-weight ratio of 5.2 kilograms per horsepower. Weighing 1,355 kilograms or 2,988 pounds unladen, in turn, the Boxster S is even more dynamic with a power-to-weight ratio of just 4.4 kg. In either case, the driver benefits from maximum performance on minimum fuel. Porsche's new Roadsters achieving their most outstanding performance and fuel economy in combination with the new Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe (PDK), the Porsche double-clutch gearbox. Shifting gears very quickly without the slightest interruption of power, the Boxster S with PDK accelerates to 100 km per hour in just 5.2 seconds, while the basic Boxster completes the same exercise in an equally impressive 5.8 seconds. Thanks to the optimum gearshift points and gear ratios with PDK, the Boxster S offers 16% better fuel economy than the previous model with Tiptronic S, reducing fuel consumption to a mere 9.2 liters 100 km EU4, equal to 30.7 mpg. The basic model with PDK even remains below the 9-liter limit, average fuel consumption of 8.9 liters, 100 kilometers or 31.7 mpg, improving fuel economy by 11% over the former model. Equipped with the manual gearbox now featuring 6 gears as standard on both models, the Boxster S accelerates to 100 km per hour in 5.3 seconds, the Boxster completing the same sprint in 5.9 seconds. And even with this manual gearbox, Porsche's two-seaters consume even less fuel than before, with fuel consumption down to 9.2 liters, 100 kilometers equal to 30.7 mpg on the Boxster and 9.6 liters, 100 kilometers equal to 29.4 mpg on the S model, in both cases to the EU4 standard. Striking appearance. The new Roadsters come with their own unique profile, standing out clearly from the Cayman. Seen from the front, the outer air intakes larger than on the former model clearly underline the self-confident appearance of the car as well as the superior performance of the new models. 2 of the crossbars integrated on either side in the outer air intake scoops are finished in body color on the Boxster and come in black on the Boxster S, adding a new graphic effect at the front to make Porsche's new Roadster quite unmistakable at very first sight. LED positioning lights and fog lamps now come in horizontal arrangement above the air intakes at the side. The direction indicators are integrated in the new halogen headlights, reminiscent in their look of the Carrera GT. A lights package featuring new bi-xenon headlights, dynamic bending lights, LED daytime driving lights, a headlight cleaning system and automatic headlight range control is available as an option on both versions of the Boxster. The daytime driving lights, made up in each case of 6 LEDs positioned next to one another, take the place of the fog lamps whose function is now performed without any drawbacks by the bi-xenon headlights, offering optimized side illumination and coverage for maximum clarity and safety. Seen from the side, you will immediately notice the new series production wheels in their unique design. The Boxster comes on 17-inch wheels in open 5-spoke design. The S model boasts Porsche's new 18-inch Boxster S2 wheels with 5 sporting and dynamic double spokes. Through their design, both production wheels offer an impressive view of the brake system and help to vent the brakes. The double-arm exterior mirrors are likewise new in their design, offering even better visibility to the rear and fulfilling all future legal requirements. Optimized aerodynamics serves furthermore to keep the mirrors cleaner in wet weather. Matching the new front section, Porsche's designers have created a brand new rear panel design on the Porsche Roadster. The newly designed rear light clusters with all red lights in LED technology give the car particular character from behind. And at the same time the lights respond very quickly, serving to enhance the car's active safety. Tapering out to a sharp point at the outside, the rear light clusters are stylishly and elegantly integrated into the new rear end of the car, the LED graphics providing truly striking light design. Equally striking diffuser inserts surrounding the newly designed tailpipes in the middle round off the new rear end at the bottom. The Boxster comes with a single tailpipe. The Boxster S boasts twin tailpipes in a special look reminiscent of the 911 GT3. 6 cylinders new from the ground up. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds and 162 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.2 seconds and 170 miles per hour for the Boxster S. The power units in the Boxster and Boxster S are entering the market as the latest representatives of Porsche's new generation of flat-6 engines. Completely new from the ground up, the engines are lighter than before and have fewer individual components, while developing more power and performance and offering even greater efficiency than their predecessors. On the Boxster, the 2.9-liter replaces the former 2.7-liter power unit, the increase in engine size being accompanied by an increase in compression from 11.3 to 1.5, serving to boost maximum output to 255 bhp, 188 kilowatts. The engine on the Boxster S comes with the same 3.4 liters capacity as before. But benefiting from Porsche's new direct fuel injection (DFI) and the compression ratio up from 11.1 to 12.5, the engine now offers maximum output of no less than 310 bhp or 228 horsepower. The greater efficiency of the new power units results to a large extent from the consistent enhancement of fundamental features and characteristics. Lower weight, reduced internal friction and fewer moving masses help to give both 6 cylinders more power on less fuel. As a result, the new engines are about 6 kilos lighter than the former power units, a 2-piece crankcase with integrated crankshaft bearings replacing the former 4-piece block with its separate bearing supports. The big advantage, apart from lower weight, is the smaller number of individual components. At the same time, Porsche's engineers have increased the thermal and mechanical robustness of the engine by changing the structure of the crankcase from an open to a closed deck configuration. The cylinder liners so far standing freely around the cylinder gasket are now connected with the block through a cast-in cover plate encompassing the coolant ducts, giving the cylinders even greater stability in their shape and structure. A further advantage is the reduction of oil consumption and, thanks to the lower level of friction, a reduction of fuel consumption. New engine mounts with additional crosswise stops and new mounting specifications serve additionally to enhance driving comfort and improve driving dynamics at the same time, with the engine integrated even more firmly into the car and thus reducing relative movement on the body itself. The Boxster S, the first Boxster with direct fuel injection. Introducing the 3.4-liter power unit featured in the new Boxster S, Porsche is hailing the advent of direct fuel injection (DFI) in the mid-engined roadster segment. Porsche DFI operates on a homogeneous fuel-air mixture, spreading out air and fuel smoothly and consistently within the combustion chamber in the interest of optimum combustion at all times. So depending on engine load and speed, fuel is injected by DFI at a pressure of up to 120 bars directly into the combustion chamber. The fundamental benefit is that contrary to conventional intake manifold injection, the fuel-air mixture is now formed directly in the combustion chamber itself. While in the case of indirect fuel injection, fuel is partly atomized up front of the closed intake valve, the advantage with direct fuel injection is that fuel is not injected directly into the cylinders until the valve is open. Positioned between the two intake valves, the injector is aimed directly at the two flows of air, thus avoiding the wall film loss inevitably suffered in the conventional process by fuel mist coming to rest on the walls of the intake manifold. The air and fuel are therefore mixed even better within the cylinder, ensuring a clean and complete combustion process. The thermal energy required for evaporating the fuel within the combustion chamber is drawn from the combustion air and cooled down in the process. This reduces the cylinder charge volume and allows the induction of additional air through the open intake valve, again improving the cylinder charge. A further benefit is that the lower temperature reduces the knock effect, allowing a higher compression ratio, versus the former model. The compression ratio on the 3.4-liter is 12.5:1, serving again to enhance the thermal efficiency of the engine for more power on less fuel. Direct fuel injection has a positive effect not only on the engine's efficiency, but also on the characteristic features of the Boxster S power unit, as the driver will feel right away. With fuel being injected fractions of a second prior to combustion, the engine responds even more smoothly and spontaneously to even the slightest movement of the gas pedal. Exhaust emissions meeting even the strictest standards. Both power units already fulfill the upcoming emission standards to EU5 in Europe and the ULEV standard in the USA. To ensure this particular quality, the 2.9-liter features a secondary air pump helping to burn fuel in the exhaust emissions when starting the engine cold and thus warming up the catalytic converters more quickly to their regular operating temperature. The 3.4-liter offers a comparable effect by means of the high-pressure stratified charge process, with the catalysts being heated up immediately thereafter. In the process, dual fuel injection increases the temperature of the exhaust gas to heat up the catalysts as quickly as possible. The fuel-air mixture is ignited at a very late point, again serving to increase the temperature of the exhaust emissions and reduce the volume of emissions during the startup phase. Ultimately, the newly developed exhaust system with two pre-catalysts integrated in the manifolds near the engine as well as two main catalysts helps to clean the exhaust gases as quickly and completely as possible. Vario Cam Plus for superior power on less fuel. Like their predecessors, the new power units feature Porsche's proven Vario Cam Plus camshaft adjustment with variable control timing on the intake side and valve lift control. These operations are performed by hydraulically controlled cup tappets on the intake side of the engine, masterminded by two cams varying in size on the intake camshaft. The big advantage of Vario Cam Plus is the combination of optimum output and torque with enhanced fuel economy, emission management and running smoothness. In combination with Porsche's new direct fuel injection, this offers an ideal symbiosis, increasing engine output and torque and reducing fuel consumption at the same time. To further enhance the spontaneous and direct response of the engine, its efficiency and fast revving running characteristics, the engineers in Weissach have redesigned the entire valve train. In their diameter, the shift tappets for the intake valves are down from 33 to 31 mm (1.22 to 1.20), the tappets on the exhaust valves from 33 to 28 mm (1.22 to 1.10). Through these smaller dimensions and the lower weight of the fast-moving tappets, mass inertia is reduced accordingly and engine speed is increased. As a result, maximum permissible engine speed is now 7,500 revolutions per minute, with both power units developing their maximum output at 6,400 revolutions per minute. On-demand oil pump and separate cooling pump. A further step to enhance the efficiency of Porsche's new engines was to optimize the oil supply and extraction system, with the engineers focusing, first, on a secure oil supply also under even higher lateral and longitudinal acceleration. The second point was to further reduce frictional and drive losses within the system. To reach these objectives, the oil circuit on the new engines follows the principle of integrated dry sump lubrication, made up of an oil pump with 4 intake stages and a pressure stage now fully controlled for the first time. Engine management adjusts the flow of oil to current requirements at all times, thus reducing the power required to run the oil pump and, accordingly, the load acting on the engine. Clearly, this also helps to reduce fuel consumption. For the first time, the coolant pump on Porsche's new Boxer engines is fitted outside of the crankcase, allowing flexible adjustment of pump dimensions and reducing the cost of service and repair when necessary. As a result, the maximum volume flow developed by the new coolant pump in accordance with the higher power of the engine and to ensure an adequate engine cooling effect at all times is up by approximately 20%. New, variable intake system. Both power units come with a new intake system incorporating the resonance and distributor pipe between the right and left-hand intake distributor. One of the new features is the newly designed center section between the right and left-hand intake distributor. Originally fitted as separate units, the resonance and distributor pipes have now been integrated to form one common component. Reflecting the shape of the center section, now oval in its form, the resonance and distributor pipe flap are semi-oval in their geometry. The switching resonance flap serves to adjust air oscillation in the intake system to the respective speed of the engine, ensuring high torque at low speeds, and even smoother torque curve, as well as high maximum output. The two-chamber distributor tube with its switching flap likewise improves engine torque at low engine speeds. The intake distributors on the 2 rows of cylinders are tailored in their dimensions to the specific characteristics of the 2 power units, thus coming in different geometry. Another new feature is the reconfigured resonance chamber in the upper section of the intake distributor. This function, new on the basic engine, serves to dampen acoustically unpleasant resonance noise at high engine speeds. Together with the newly developed exhaust system, the sound pattern of the engine has therefore been recomposed, now offering even greater brilliance and an even more dynamic touch. Accelerating faster, saving fuel, the Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe (PDK). The 2 new Roadsters are available as an option for the first time with Porsche's Doppel-Kupplungsgetriebe, or PDK for short, the double-clutch gearbox with 7 gears replacing the former Tiptronic S. In principle, PDK is made up of one manual gearbox separated into 2 individual transmission units and a hydraulic control unit. The heart of the transmission is formed by 2 interacting multiple plate clutches running in an oil bath and hydraulically operated on one joint shaft. One clutch is for the first gearbox unit incorporating the uneven gears and the reverse gear, the other clutch is for the second gearbox unit comprising the even gears. Through a number of pressure valves, the hydraulic control unit masterminds both the clutches and the shift cylinders, activating the desired transmission ratio. The gears are shifted very fast, without the slightest jolt, and with no interruption of power or traction, the clutch on one gearbox unit opening up and the other clutch closing at the same time. In selector lever position D, this entire process takes place fully automatically, with maximum comfort and smoothness. Pressing the paddles on the steering wheel or simply tipping the selector lever, the driver may however also shift gears manually. In either case, the process of engaging and disengaging the clutch does not require any action on the part of the driver. The big advantage is the gear shift up to 60% faster than on a manual and converter automatic transmission, since the gears are already in mesh when the driver shifts from one gear to another. A further advantage is the reduction of weight on PDK, which, despite the addition of 2 further gears, is about 10 kilograms or 22 pounds lighter than the former Tiptronic S transmission. Porsche's Doppelkupplungsgetriebe comes with 7 forward gears and 1 reverse gear. Gears 1 to 6 feature a sporting transmission ratio, with the 2 models reaching top speed in 6th gear. With its long transmission ratio, 7th gear serves to provide an overdrive or economy function. Shifting gears on the selector lever or directly on the steering wheel. The driver is able to operate the Doppelkupplungsgetriebe the same way as Tiptronic S in the past, either by means of paddles on the newly designed PDK steering wheel or through the likewise redesigned selector lever in the center console. The steering wheel in its sporting 3-spoke design comes with 2 shift paddles in particularly ergonomic arrangement. Pressing the right or left-hand paddle to the front, the driver shifts up, pulling the paddles towards him from behind, he shifts down. The PDK control display in the instrument cluster is likewise based on the proven Tiptronic S concept, enhanced to an even higher standard and supplemented by an easy-to-read numerical indicator showing the driver which gear is currently in mesh 1 to 7. The driving program P, R, N, D and M currently in use, on the other hand, is presented by red LEDs next to the gearshift pattern. Driving in dynamic style, the Sports Chrono Package and Sports Chrono Package Plus. In conjunction with the CDR30 radio featured as standard, Porsche offers the Sports Chrono Package as a particular feature. And in combination with optional Porsche Communication Management (PCM), the driver also has the choice of the optional Sports Chrono Package Plus. As before, both packages come with an analog stopwatch on the instrument panel and a sports mode for the engine, also serving to activate Porsche Stability Management (PSM) as well as Porsche Active Suspension Management (PASM), where fitted, via the sports button. In combination with Porsche Communication Management (PCM), both models also come with a performance display in the instrument cluster and an individual memory. A brand new feature on both packages is the additional Sports Plus function on cars fitted with the Porsche Doppelkupplungsgetriebe. Pressing the additional Sports Plus button, the driver is able to choose an uncompromising, highly dynamic gearshift program for optimum performance on the racetrack. A further feature offered by this program is Porsche Launch Control for optimum acceleration from a standstill. To set off like in motorsport, all the driver has to do is press down the brake pedal with his left foot and push the gas pedal all the way down with his right foot kicked down. This will rev up the engine to 6,500 revolutions per minute. Then, once the driver takes his foot off the brake pedal, the car will set off with maximum acceleration, both roadsters thus reaching 100 km per hour, another 0.2 seconds faster, the Boxster S in 5.0, the Boxster in 5.6 seconds. New, 6-speed manual gearbox on both models. Both new Roadsters come as standard with a manual 6-speed gearbox. Based on the gearbox in the former models, the new transmission unit has been modified in its geometric mounting points and power uptake to the new engines. Now the basic Boxster also comes as standard with the 6-speed manual gearbox replacing the former 5-speed unit. Porsche offers drivers of the Boxster and Boxster S with a manual gearbox important help in reducing fuel consumption by means of the gearshift point indicator housed in the rev counter as a triangle to the right of the digital speedometer. Depending on the gear in mesh, engine speed and the position of the gas pedal, the gearshift point indicator clearly tells the driver when to shift up, the instrument flashing on for the driver to shift up to the next higher gear in the interest of enhanced fuel economy. Clearly, the driver receives this recommendation only if the gear suggested is appropriate for maintaining the speed or process of acceleration chosen by the driver in advance. Limited slip differential is an option. A limited slip differential on the rear wheels is available for the new Boxsters in conjunction with both 18 and 19-inch rims. Locking action is 22% under power and 27% in overrun, thus significantly improving both traction and stability for significantly enhanced performance on winding roads, particularly on the track. A further advantage is the even more stable load change behavior. And last but certainly not least, the mechanical limited slip differential, through its particular function, reduces electronic brake intervention (OBID) by PSM Porsche Stability Management, with the locking action reducing the tendency of a wheel to spin when running on a slippery surface at one side of the car. Start-off assistant also with the manual gearbox. Both with the manual gearbox and Porsche's new PDK, the two-seater Boxster now comes as standard with a start-off assistant offering the driver even easier and smoother control in everyday motoring and preventing the car from rolling forwards or backwards for about 2 seconds when setting off on a gradient by automatically holding and subsequently releasing the brakes after the driver lets go of the brake pedal. The start-off assistant therefore allows the driver to set off smoothly and comfortably on an uphill or downhill gradient without having to use the handbrake. New audio and communication systems. Both the Boxster and the Cayman come as standard with the new CDR30 CD radio boasting an easy-to-read 5-inch monochromatic display and the ability to play MP3 CDs. New PCM Porsche Communication Management available as an option complete with hard disk navigation serves as the central control unit for all audio, communication and navigation features. PCM is now even more versatile, efficient and a lot easier to use than before, standing out in particular through its control monitor enabling the driver to select specific functions simply by tipping the appropriate key, and increased in size from 5.8 to 6.5 inches. As an option, PCM is available with highly convenient voice control and, in conjunction with the optional, universal audio interface, can now be used also to control external audio sources such as an iPod or USB stick. Last but not least, Porsche's new two-seaters are available as an option with seat ventilation combined with seat heating on both the standard seats and the comfort seats with full or partial leather. Specifications. Specifications: Porsche Boxster. Body: two-seater Roadster, monocoque hot galvanized lightweight steel body, soft roof with interior lining, aluminium hardtop optional, driver and passenger airbags operating in 2 stages, side and head airbags for the driver and passenger. Aerodynamics: drag coefficient CD equals 0.29 with PDK CD equals 0.30. Frontal area A equals 1.97 sqm. CDXA equals 0.58 with PDK CDXA equals 0.59. Power unit: water-cooled 6-cylinder Boxer engine, engine block and cylinder head made of aluminum, 4 overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing and valve stroke, Vario Cam Plus, hydraulic valve play compensation, 2-stage switching intake manifold, sequential multipoint fuel injection, integrated dry sump lubrication with on-demand oil pump, 2 3-way catalytic converters on each row of cylinders, each with 2 oxygen sensors, 10.0 liters 2.64 imp gals engine oil, 23.4 liters 6.17 imp gals coolant, electronic ignition with solid-state distributor, 6 ignition coils. Bore 89.0 mm 3.50. Stroke 77.5 mm 3.05. Capacity 2893 cc. Compression ratio 11.5:1. Engine output 188 kilowatts, 255 bhp at 7,200 revolutions per minute. Max torque 290 newton meters, 214 pound-feet from 4,400 to 6,000 revolutions per minute. Output per liter 65.0 kilowatts, 88.1 bhp. Max engine speed 7,500 revolutions per minute. Fuel grade Premium Plus. Electrical system 12 volts, 2100 W alternator, 60 AX 280A battery with PDK 70 AX 340A. Power transmission, engine and transmission bolted to form one unit, double drive shafts leading to the rear wheels. Gear ratios. Chassis and suspension. Front axle, independent wheel suspension on track control arms, longitudinal arms, thrust rods and spring struts, conical stump springs with inner twin sleeve gas pressure shock absorbers, McPherson design optimized by Porsche. Rear axle, independent wheel suspension on track control arms, longitudinal arms, thrust rods and spring struts, coil springs with inner twin sleeve gas pressure dampers, McPherson design optimized by Porsche. Brakes. Twin-circuit brake system with individual axle split front to rear, 4-piston aluminium monoblock brake calipers, cross-drilled and inner-vented brake discs measuring 318 by 28 mm (12.5 by 1.10) diameter x thickness at the front and 299 by 20 mm (11.77 by 0.79) at the rear. Porsche Stability Management (PSM) 8.0 vacuum brake servo, brake assistant. Wheels and tires. Front 7JX17 on 205 55 ZR17. Rear 8.5JX17 on 235 50 ZR17. Weight. Weight, unladen, to DIN standard 1,335 kilograms 2,944 pounds. Max permissible 1,635 kilograms 3,605 pounds. Dimensions. Length 4,342 mm 170.9. Width 1,801 mm 70.9. Height 1,292 mm 50.9. Wheelbase 2,415 mm 95.1. Track front 1,490 mm 58.7. Rear 1,534 mm 60.4. Luggage compartment capacity overall to VDA 150 liters 5.25 cubic feet front, 130 liters 4.55 cubic feet rear. Fuel tank 65 liters 17.2 gallons. Performance. Top speed 261 km per hour, 160 seconds of a mile per hour. Acceleration in sec. 0 to 100 km per hour 5.9, 5.8. 0 to 160 km per hour 13.6, 13.4. 0 to 200 km per hour 22.3, 22.1. Standing start km 25.6, 25.4. Specifications. Porsche Boxster S. Body. 2-seater roadster, monocoque hot galvanized lightweight steel body, soft roof with interior lining, aluminum hardtop as an option, driver and passenger airbags operating in 2 stages, side and head airbags for the driver and passenger. Aerodynamics. Drag coefficient, CD equals 0.29, with PDK CD equals 0.30. Frontal area, A equals 1.98 sqm. CDXA equals 0.59, with PDK CDXA equals 0.61. Power unit. Water-cooled 6-cylinder Boxer engine, engine block and cylinder head made of aluminum, 4 overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing and valve stroke, Vario Cam Plus, hydraulic valve play compensation, 2-stage switching intake manifold, direct fuel injection, DME digital motor electronics engine management, integrated dry sump lubrication with on-demand oil pump, 2 3-way catalytic converters on each row of cylinders, each with 2 oxygen sensors, 10.0 liters 2.64 gals. Engine oil 23.2 to 25.0 liters 6.12 to 6.60 gals. Coolant, electronic ignition with solid-state distributor, 6 ignition coils. Bore 97.0 mm 3.81. Stroke 77.5 mm 3.05. Capacity 3436 cc. Compression ratio 12.5:1. Engine output 228 kilowatts 310 bhp at 7200 revolutions per minute. Max torque 360 newton meters 265 pound-feet at 4750 revolutions per minute. Output per liter 66.4 kilowatts 90.2 bhp. Max engine speed 7500 revolutions per minute. Fuel grade Premium Plus. Electrical system 12 volts 2100 W alternator 70 Ah x 340A battery. Power transmission engine and transmission bolted to form one unit, double drive shafts leading to the rear wheels. Gear ratios. Chassis and suspension. Front axle, independent wheel suspension on track control arms, longitudinal arms, thrust rods and spring struts, conical stump springs with inner twin-sleeve gas pressure shock absorbers, McPherson design optimized by Porsche. Rear axle, independent wheel suspension on track control arms, longitudinal arms, thrust rods and spring struts, coil springs with inner twin-sleeve gas pressure dampers, McPherson design optimized by Porsche. Brakes. Twin-circuit brake system with individual axle split front to rear, 4-piston aluminium monoblock brake calipers, cross-drilled and inner-vented brake discs measuring 318 by 28 mm 12.5 by 1.10 diameter x thickness at the front and 299 by 24 mm 11.77 by 0.94 at the rear. Porsche Stability Management PSM 8.0, vacuum brake servo, brake assistant. Wheels and tires. Front 8JX18 on 235 55ths ZR18. Rear 9JX18 on 265 50ths ZR18. Weight. Weight, unladen, to DIN standard 1,355 kilograms 2,988 pounds. Max permissible 1,645 kilograms 3,627 pounds. Dimensions. Length 4,342 mm 170.9. Width 1,801 mm 70.9. Height 1,294 mm 50.9. Wheelbase 2,415 mm 95.1. Track front 1,486 mm 58.5. Rear 1,528 mm 60.2. Luggage compartment capacity, overall, to VDA 150 liters 5.25 cubic feet front, 130 liters 4.55 cubic feet rear. Fuel tank 65 liters 17.2 imp gals. Performance. Top speed 272 km per hour, 169 of a mile per hour. Acceleration in sec. 0 to 100 km per hour 5.3, 5.2. 0 to 160 km per hour 11.6, 11.4. 0 to 200 km per hour 18.4, 18.2. Standing start km 24.3 24.1. Prices. Wheel accessories. Interior. Options. Competitors and press reviews. As anticipated, and in typical Porsche manner, the Boxster gives almost nothing up to its fixed-roof brother. They benefit from the same massive cross-drilled brakes, upgraded to be identical on the Boxster and Boxster S this year, the same suspension and the same wheel-tire package, staggered, with 265/40-18s in the rear. While there is no denying the additional rigidity in the Cayman, reportedly double, the weight difference is but a mere 11 pounds, impossible to discern without a digital scale. Top up or down, tossing the Boxster into corners reveals an eager chassis that feels perfectly balanced. Even with Porsche Stability Management (PSM) activated, the mid-engine Roadster begs to be driven harder and harder. Wet patches of asphalt step the rear wheels out mid-corner, and naturally corrections bring things back into line with minimal steering inputs. Throttle, tap the brakes, turn, throttle, tap the brakes, turn, throttle, tap the brakes, and repeat again and again. Autoblog. The precise and talkative steering has been lightened a smidge. The already impeccable ride quality and wheel control are enhanced by increased comfort due to softer spring mounts. Tenacious grip and handling are even better, owing to retuned rear shocks and springs, as well as a larger rear anti-roll bar on cars with the optional limited slip differential, a feature that is now available on all Boxsters. These alterations aren't groundbreaking on their own, but taken together, they make for a more capable, cohesive Boxster, something we might have thought impossible before our drive. Car and driver. Like other automated manual transmissions, you can either leave the PDK in drive for automatic shifting or select manual mode, the latter accomplished by moving the shift lever on the center console into the manual gate or by using the buttons on the steering wheel. On the high-speed track at Willow Springs, we found ourselves leaving the PDK in drive. Partially, this is because Porsche has chosen the bizarro world orientation for the gear lever, because you push forward for upshifts and pull back for downshifts. But we'll also admit that drive mode meant there would be less of a chance that we'd make an ass of ourselves in front of professional racers Derek Bell and Hurley Haywood, who were Porsche's driving instructors for the day. Insideline. Competitors. Audi TTS Roadster. The Audi TTS is entering the 2010 model year better than ever with a 265 HP version of the 2.0 TFSI 4-cylinder along with a sharper tuned suspension. The TTS accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 4.9 seconds and has a fuel economy of 29 mpg on the highway. It is priced at $45,900. Bmw Z4 Roadster. The 2010 BMW Z4 is offered in two different versions, a Z4S Drive 30i and a Z4S Drive 35i, priced at $46,000 and $51,900, respectively. Both versions are using the same 3.0-liter inline six-cylinder engine. The S-Drive 30i has 255 horsepower, and the S-Drive 35i uses twin turbos, one turbo designated for 3 cylinders each, to upgrade to 300 horsepower. Nissan 370Z Roadster. The 370Z Roadster is being offered in two different trim levels, made up of the base 370Z Roadster and a Touring Edition. It is powered by a 3.7-liter DOHC V6 making 332 HP, with an estimated fuel economy of 18 mpg in the city and 25 mpg on the highway. The car is priced at $36,970. Conclusion. What other reason you need to buy the Boxster besides being a Porsche? We know this is not enough, don't worry. Let's start with the changes, the new 7-speed PDK transmission, that is simple, brilliant and most importantly downshifts instantly. The Boxster also features a high-quality interior, and with the accessories long list you can ensure to have an exclusive car. But besides being a Porsche, the car still has a familiar shape with no big changes made. Taken this under consideration, we prefer the BMW Z4. There is another aspect we don't like on the Boxster: mandatory ragtop lacks the versatility of a retractable hardtop.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.